Thank you for taking the ride on the Freedom Train podcast series. I am your host, Joseph Ward, and thank you. Welcome back to the podcast. Remember, the Freedom Train is brought to you by PACS Inc. That's PACTSINC. And PACS Inc. is a black development organization aimed at developing the black community to its maximum potential through a focus on education and economics with a trace of hard work, honesty, and integrity. For more information, make sure you visit www.pactsinc.org. That way you can learn more about the organization, the members, their mission, and what they actually do for the community and why they do it for the community. Also, remember, the month of May for the Freedom Train Network is Black Women Celebration Month. So every day of the month from May 1st to May 31st, we are profiling a different black woman. So we encourage you strongly to go to our website, click on that tab that says Black Women Celebration 2018, go through the profiles of the brilliant, talented women that we are profiling, learn about them, and support them. And remember, this episode that you are listening to is also dedicated to the celebration of black women. And I have a special treat for you, but let me give you a little more housekeeping. Remember, our new show, the Block and Nickel Podcast, is debuting every Tuesday. So make sure you go to Freedom Train Network. FreedomTrainRadio.com is the actual website, so you can listen to the Block and Nickel Podcast hosted by Mr. Donnell Durden every Tuesday. And you know our weekly lineup. Every Monday we have the Fix Sports Podcast. Every Tuesday we have the Block and Nickel Podcast. Every Wednesday, what you're listening to, the Freedom Train Podcast series. We also have the live showing of Office Hours Professor Carl Stone Jones and Erica Tobler. Every Thursday you have the Lessons from the Screen Podcast. Every Friday you have the actual podcast of the Office Hours Professor Carl Stone Jones and Erica Tobler. Every Saturday you have the Tea Time Black Women Talk podcast, as well as the On the Shoulders of Giants. So, you know, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher is what they are on. So today, this episode is great for me because it combines two of some of my favorite things, great people and great food. And this person is a master chef. You've probably seen her before. You probably have. I'm sure you probably have. So let me give you a little background information before I let the cat all the way out the bag. Chef Shacafrica Simmons, a.k.a. Chef Shac, is on assignment in the earth as the owner and creative innovator of Chef Shac, LLC, which is the parent company for Empowered by Food, the North Florida Culinary Incubator, Chef Shac Catering, Life Chef, and the Sensory Experience. Most recently, she has added to her accolades the title of the Food Network Chalk Champion in 2017. With the keys of the city to Tallahassee and her Get Shac'd beverage and product line, Chef Shac is taking the world by storm. Chef Shac truly believes that health and wealth are intricately woven in the food choices we make. Therefore, her desire is to teach people to take ownership of their relationship with food. Through access, information, demonstration, and education, Chef Shac is empowering communities one delicious morsel at a time. Her motto in food and in life is to always keep it flavorful. So I want everybody to get up on your feet and give a round of applause for Chef Shac. Good. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like I was saying earlier, you are definitely somebody who, in this city of Tallahassee, if you don't know, you've been inspiring others for a while, even before the TV show. And I think you, as a genuine person, what you bring just as a person and as a chef, just to the city overall, I think just the genuineness in you is one of the reasons why you got a outpouring. Just outpouring support when you were on that TV show. I did want to let you know that we've been with you in your corner for a while, and those of us who are true, we're going to stay in your corner.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
No problem. So I'm sure our audience is anxious to know more about you, so we'll go ahead and get into the interview.
Okay.
So the first question is, I know I've done my homework on you, but I know some of my audience members may not have heard of you before. Can you give our audience some background information about yourself and what led up to you choosing to become a chef as your profession?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Well, I mean, I grew up cooking. My grandfather actually was the first person to introduce me to actually cooking. So
Okay.
he one morning just wanted to teach me how to cook an egg. And he wanted me to cook for him pretty much, but he actually taught me how to do it. So I think that's where I kind of got introduced to cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, I grew up wanting to go into music and some other things, and ended up working in midwifery. And so I was, with babies and moms and all that. And my ex-husband now, I was like, we're moving. We're going to move out of Florida. We're going to go to Birmingham, Alabama. And so I got there, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I've been birthday babies and all this stuff, and I don't know what to do. And he was like, you can cook. You should go to chef school. So I started seeing these commercials about culinary arts, and I took a chance. And because I never thought I could do it. I was like, I can cook at home for the family, but a chef, that's a total, a whole nother level. And but it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So that's how I got into this type of cooking. But I've been cooking all my life since I was 5 years old.
Okay. Yeah, my stomach definitely thanks you for making that decision to become definitely enjoy it. No, but one of the things that's cool about you is a lot of people I'm not going to say a lot, but there are some people who are put into the kitchen by family members, and they can cook, but there's a difference between being a person who can cook real good and being the chef. So I do want to ask to you, in your opinion, what kind of helped you be able to make that transition from a person who was very, very good at cooking, but to be able to master the art of being a chef?
I think, just making the decision to go to culinary school, I kind of, actually learning, the more formal way of cooking and those formal styles of cooking. You're growing up, and I know as like an African American, Black families, we don't measure, we don't do, follow recipes really. So I was able to take even that skill set, into the classroom when and into those culinary situations, and then take what I learned, the more formal way of learning, and combine those things to really kind of make my style, how I cook and my philosophy around cooking and food. Right.
Okay. Now, because I did want to ask that question because I wanted your opinion on that, but like I said, and you are articulating the art of it. It has to be taught, and you can't just pick that up just off the street unless the person who taught you was a chef themselves. But like you say, I mean, when I cook, I think I'm pretty good in that. Well, I got skills, but I don't measure. But just to be able to take that turn, though, to make it to where you are creating art rather than just cooking. Because I like to cook, but you are an artist. So
and people, they'll come to me and they'll be like, hey, you that cook, right? And I'll be like, no, I'm that chef.
Right.
Because I got them student loans, too, that I'm still paying for, and the degree and all that stuff. I'm like, no, I done took it to the next level. I'm paying a lot to call myself a chef.
Exactly. Respect my title.
That's right. Respect my title. That's right.
Yes, ma'am. So, as far as cooking style, do you have a style? And if you do have a style, like, what is your style, and how did that kind of become your style?
Well, I call what I do, I guess you can, say style. I call it Southern fusion. So I take I'm a Southern girl, with a lot of Caribbean influence. My grandfather was from the Bahamas. So a lot of what we, ate and things like that were very indigenous to the Caribbean, to the Bahamas in that area. But I love being in the South, and I've always appreciated the bounty of the South, all those beautiful things that we can grow here naturally, and so I've taken that traditional Southern or things that have been traditionally grown in the South and fused it with other cultures, other types of cuisine. So I don't, people are like, oh, you soul food fusion. I'm like, no, it's not just soul food. It's not just fried food. It's Southern. It's what we can source locally here in the South and combine into, and use in other types of cuisines and create something very beautiful, very delicious, but maybe a little different.
Right. No, and as you were saying that, and I'm listening, it's making me think about, and I'll just articulate it the best way I can as far as, and I use a rapper like a Biggie Smalls, one of the greatest rappers, as an example. It's a difference between somebody who's just rapping on the corner and somebody who's, they're mastering their craft, but also, like you said, styles. And I thought about it as well. As a chef, as a master chef as you are, you have various styles that you can really throw down in, like various styles. And so it's more than, like you said, somebody saying you just a Southern cuisine or soul food style person. No, you are a chef who has various styles that you can put down, but you have that Southern flavor that you can throw into it. So that's just how I thought about it. So within your bio, you talk about empowerment through food, which is one of my favorite things. I really love that. And so for me, those are two words that are not often grouped together, food and empowerment. So can you explain to us how you use food as a vehicle to empower the people in the communities that you serve?
Well, I have a program actually called Empowered by Food, where we go into the community and work with, people who are in depressed neighborhoods, or who would be in what they call quote unquote food deserts. I kind of hate that term, but that's what they call it. That's what it's called. But we go into these into these underserved communities and talk about how to not only cook food, but how to access food. Where can you source it? Where can you source the best local food? Or where can you source locally grown food? We talk about education, so educating around food itself, how it can not only just fill you up and satiate you, but also how it can heal you, how it can empower you. We also demonstrate how to use food, how to cook food. There's different things that people, they may have eaten their whole life but never knew how to actually prepare it. Right. So we give people tools. And so when I say empowered by food, it's using that food to heal you, to make you whole, even to then bring communities together. We actually have a program that we're starting called Gel Together. So it's grow, eat, and live together. Okay. And so it's meant for communities to come together and share a meal. That's one of the most intimate things you can do with anyone, is share a meal together, to eat together. That's why most of our elders and our families, we have these big dinner events and things like that around family. And it's very intimate. And when you invite someone into that space, you're sharing something that's you're taking it to another level. If I invite you to my home for dinner, to sit at my table, there's some level of trust there. There's some level of relationship there. There's some level of connection there that we want to nurture. Right. And so when I say that, that's what I mean. We also have a program that we teach people how to actually use food. So if they have a food product, they want to make jelly, jam, they want to make a sauce, a beverage, we teach them how to do that either through cottage industry, so using, at home, they can prepare certain things at home and sell them at the local farmers market or out of their homes. But then also, if they want to take it to the next level, being in a commercial kitchen or something like that. So we worked in the past with groups in Tallahassee that have developed kitchen share programs and things like that to help people use food as an enterprise so that they can make money. So that's what I mean when I say empower. Yeah,
that's needed though. But and you laid it out. You knocked that one out the park. That was awesome.
Thank you.
No, because and it's refreshing that you have it together, and it's the way you say it. You can hear the passion behind it, but it's well thought out, it's well planned out, and it's something that's actually in the works that is helping people because. Especially in this city, in like Tallahassee, I try to tell people that there are resources available. So there shouldn't be as many hungry people as there are because the resources are there. So, being able to use vehicles like this Fredomtrain to get more information out because what you're doing is awesome to be able to really, truly, like you're literally empowering people through food. It's not just a label or some kind of fancy term that you're just throwing around, like you're actually doing that. So my hat definitely goes to you for that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So,
yes, it's something that everybody needs, It's something that everybody needs. So in multiple ways, it could definitely be useful, to us and to our communities.
Yes, ma'am. And speaking of teaching people how to turn food into an enterprise, because you literally are doing that on a regular basis that when you step out into the world as Chef Shac, especially founding Chef Shac LLC because you are an entrepreneur. And as I read in your bio, Chef Shac LLC is the parent company of several other businesses that you operate. So can you give us a little more information about Chef Shac LLC and all of the businesses that are up under the umbrella of Chef Shac LLC?
Okay, well, we just talked about Empowered by Food. Life Chef, which is it's still Empowered by Food, but it's a more one-on-one personal experience with Chef Shac and learning about food. And so we work with athletes. We work with people who want to lose weight, gain weight. We recently had an Olympic hopeful pretty much do food training with us, food coaching with us. Goodness, we have the North Florida Culinary Incubator, which is, again, that project around kitchen share, shared kitchens and community kitchens and helping people to have a space. If they're a caterer who doesn't have a brick and mortar building, if they're someone who wants to produce a product, they can come into a space like this. And so actually, we work with Frenchtown with Kitchen Share, and that's kind of that model came from the North Florida Culinary Incubator. Gosh, we have so many. The sensory experience, which is our, it's more centered around art and food and how those two things go together. So it's culinary art, visual art, performing art. It's all the arts together. And it's a 3-hour-long event. We were doing it monthly, and we bring in local artists, and they actually have a close and personal experience with Chef Shac. I'm cooking different courses, and they're eating different courses. Each course is paired with wine. So it's really an amazing experience, an overwhelming experience. So we always say be overtaken by the sense of experience. So, and then we have our new beverage line, which is Get Shac'd. And we have about 20 beverages that we do. But our top seller is our mango basil tea. And if anyone follows me on Facebook, they see the pictures of the mango basil tea, or they see people asking, can they purchase that mango basil tea? So those are kind of what we're focusing on. But we do have books in the works. I actually have a new animated character, Chef Shac Jr. We'll be doing some coloring books and cooking books for children. So a lot of great things happening right now.
See, that's amazing. You know, you get the hand claps for that, because that
Thank
is
you.
amazing. Everything you have going on. Like that's amazing. Now, and as I was reading through your information, you know, doing my homework and learning more about you, the sensory experience, I just created something in my head what I just thought the sensory experience was. But I love the way you lay it out, and that. Please let me know next time you have that, because I'm coming. That sounds fun. You know.
It is. It's amazing. It's an amazing evening. It's an exchange of information. It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of, you know, just a great exchange with people in the room and with me. You know, it's awesome.
So, and also the beverage line, the Get Shac beverage line, like how. When did that idea come into your head, and how long did it take for that to transform from an idea to an actual line of beverages?
Oh, wow, that's really a good question. We were working with the Fredomtrain Heritage Market. We were out at the market, you know, on Saturday mornings, and we started doing just demos with, you know, different local produce and teaching people how to use it. And then I became an actual vendor. So I was like selling snacks and different, you know, little street foods, you know, more gourmet street food stuff. And, you know, we needed drinks, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, let me do some of the stuff I do at home, some of these concoctions, as my grandfather. Let me make some concoctions. And I started doing a lot of research, though, around herbs. And so most of our drinks are infused with herbs. So like mango basil tea has seasonally it changes because the access to basil changes. But we in summer, like now, we'll have about 4 different types of basil with that mango, you know, and the tea is. And then, you know, now that it's getting warmer, we'll have our watermelon. So it was just the influence of the seasons. The seasons really influenced me and inspired me to create these types of beverages. And then wanting to see people heal, you know, and feel good after they eat something and not be hurting or, you know, low or, you know, withdrawn or whatever. You know, you get sleepy and tired and all that stuff. So I wanted to really address those issues, and we were able to do that with our beverage line. So we do teas, infused teas, lemonades, and water.
I see. That's great. And it's healthy for you. It's good. And it tastes great. I mean, and
that's right.
Right now, because the climate in the country is moving more toward health-conscious foods. And one thing I try to tell people a lot, because I went like 2 years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, I went vegan for like not vegan, but vegetarian for 8 months. But what I learned in that is, if you can cook, you can cook. So either your food is going to taste good or it's not. If it didn't taste good with meat, it's not going to taste good with vegetables, vice versa. So if you can cook, you can cook, but to not over-season your food and all those different things. But the point is, you know, being able to take whatever you're eating, whether you eat meat, you're vegan or whatever, and you can make it good, you can make it great, and people can enjoy it. Like, healthy foods can be enjoyable, and I love that approach that you're taking. So.
Oh, yeah, we definitely. We have our client base is heavy vegan, vegetarian, and we're able to do just as flavorful a dish with as a vegan option or a vegetarian option as we are with an omnivorous option or a carnivore option. So you're right. If you can cook, you can do it.
Right. So we talked earlier about culinary school, and you make sure that we understood you need to go get trained to be a great chef. You need that. You're not just going to walk out the kitchen and do that just because your grandma can cook good, to be a chef. So
that's right.
What, in your opinion, what are the advantages and or disadvantages of being degreed in culinary arts and pastry and confectionery And how does that kind of help you? Like, what are the pros and cons of those? And is it like more pros than cons of like actually having that background and being able to go from cooking to baking and be good at it? Because, baking is an exact science. So
it's an exact science. Yeah. So, and I will say this, that baking is not my most favorite. I'm really kind of like to pull something on the savory side. But the advantages of that, I definitely think it's more advantages to having that degree. The only few disadvantages I could think of is people think you can cook anything. They're like, you know everything. They just like, you don't know? What's this? Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to cook it. But it's always like, look, give me a little while. Let me do research, and I can do it for you, So I think that's kind of the disadvantage of it. Just people just think you're like, a computer of food, like you're the Google of food when you do that. But the pros definitely are, again, being marketable, being able to go into either corporate arena, to the food sciences, to go. I mean, it's really just an open book for what you can do if you want to go into more medium style, low dining or high end dining. Catering, like what I do, personal chef services, it really opens up the door to what you can do. Some people are just food designers. Some people just do art, art with food. They do cheese sculptures and ice sculptures, but they have a degree in culinary, but that's the thing, that's the niche that they, gravitated to. And so that's what I feel like creating is like, this is my thing. I stay in my lane. I love food, but I'm not afraid to be adventurous with food. I'm not afraid to, experience, create those things. So that is definitely understanding food and where it came from. That's such a love for you, food history, being in culinary.
Right.
Just go in the kitchen. You have to get in the books.
Right. Definitely. You want to get better.
Yeah, that's right. So, so that's why I think it's definitely an advantage. It helps you understand what's going on and why having beautiful, delicious food is.
Right. That's correct. Of course, everybody wants to talk about you and wants to actually hear you talk about your experience on Shac'd, of course.
Right.
Because, and I'm not gonna lie, I was all the way up in that episode. Like I've never watched Shac'd a day in my life, or if I have, it's just for spurts or whatever. But I was all up in that episode. I felt like I was in the kitchen with you. But and just from what I saw, from my little knowledge of cooking, it was just your confidence in that kitchen, and I don't know, it just felt like you were comfortable in your space. You were performing well, even when it seemed like you were under stress and time was running short and you had to do this. You still was able to pull it out, and I think it was like the second or the third meal when you did something funky with the bread or the pastry or whatever, and the judge was like, I didn't even think about this. And I was like, I want to try that now. But then it was amazing watching you because, like I say, we definitely was with you there and had your back. And you captured the hearts of those who didn't know you. So, of course, everybody wants to know, how did you get on the show? And when you found out you was on the show and as you were going through the competition, what was your attitude towards winning when, as you were going through the process, as you were competing with the others, and even when you first found out you were getting on the show?
So how I got on the show, I was a part of the local Chop Junior. I was a judge for the local Chop Junior. And the executive producer of Chop actually was one of the judges with me.
Okay.
And she, we met, we talked a bit. And she just gave me the opportunity to come on the show. Now, I had to go through everything that everybody else has to go through, had to apply, had to do all that. But her, just kind of saying, hey, we're going to, we want to do this, was just that blew me away right there. And I've always wanted to go on the show because I'm not the TV like, oh, it's a this with that, it's just,
right.
But it was so funny because as that the nerves started coming. Like, I remember this, like, oh, what am I doing? I don't know. Like, oh no, so I'm like, oh God, how am I do these dishes and this was the time, But embracing that once I got to it, one, I was able to calm down a little bit. I was still really excited, really nervous, but I could calm down enough. And before I left, Chef Art Smith, local to Tallahassee, he lives in Jasper, does a lot of work in Tallahassee. And I texted him, I was like, give me some tips because he's been on top a number of times, won a number of times.
Right.
And he's a great established, chef. And so I was like, and he was like, do what be authentic. Do what you know how to do. Don't go in there trying to use stuff you ain't never used. Don't go in there trying to create something brand spanking new that you've never done. Yeah, he said, just be true. Because a lot of the show is cut. It's very true. A lot of the show is cut. It's about a 13-hour taping.
Right.
And you only get to see about an hour, but through that show,